When I made the announcement video of Prophet Gordon's passing, I did state that there were certain people that reacted to his post. On this particular episode, I'll talk about particularly two. But the other one, not so much in detail, but with Bushiri's post, I'm going to talk a little bit in detail. You can go and read the rest of it. But I thought it was quite interesting because there is actually a news post that came out from Newsroom that kind of detailed what has been happening in Newlands, and so which fits a very different narrative than what Bushiri is posting. So first, let's go to the reaction table. Then I'll be back here with the reaction. On Facebook, you will see that Bushiri did a response to this entire thing. It was about a day ago. Now, this is what he says: being shot on the pulpit because he was a prophet. Now, we don't know if that's the context or if that's the reason. We'll have to wait for the police to actually get to the core of that. But don't worry, before we end this video, I'm going to give you a little bit of context because it's not the direction that he wants it to go. He says in the pretext of robbery, he's implying to know what the cause or what caused the entire thing. I don't know, man. To say it's in the pretext or it's pretending, it's in the pretense of thing. That's, anyways. He says, otherwise you'll have to explain how the other pastor also was shot. And then here it says the same, and he did survive, by the way. And the same tricks they used on me in February 22. Who is they? Who is he talking about when he says they? I've asked these questions consistently when Bushiri brings up his issues with his court case. Okay? The court case was not persecution. The court case was saying that there are dodgy things that you were involved in, and that's why that had led you to have issues with the law in South Africa. This man, they walked up in the church when he was preaching and they shot him. It's not the same text. So who is they that he's talking about there? Okay. And then he says in Santin, and then he explains this thing. He says, luckily we had intelligence and they did not find me in the car. Surprisingly, they robbed something from my people. Okay. That's what he says. That's what he says. This happened 3 months before a gunman stormed our church, and thinking now, we would love to see the report that he gave to the police on that and the follow-up after that. And then he says, on the pulpit, while I was preaching, okay, so I don't know if he's talking about recent or when. He says, thank God our security managed to intercept him, not once. Okay. Losing this young prophet is something that was not supposed to have happened. We all know the agenda and who is behind this. What is he talking about? Okay. If the police are investigating a matter, you inserting ideas into people's mind doesn't help that. Why is he hell-bent on skewing the narrative of the story? If you hear a noise, don't mind it. Today we have a problem with electricity here, and I am using the power station, so the light is a little bit heavy. That being said, if you look at Didi, I think his name is Prophet Didi, he did move away from South Africa. I think he also moved on the basis of drama or something that was happening at his church back to Zambia. But with Bushiri here, he says he uses this language, they were plotting. In the language, in the video, in the post that he made, he implies that there's an agenda to annihilate prophets, or even he starts it by saying they did this because he's a prophet. He implies it upon that. Didi in his post says that Prophet Didi, if you don't know what I'm talking about, he says it's another person who is whatnot, who's a prophet. He's supposedly prophesying or something like that. Now, to imply or insert ideas when the Police are still investigating the matter. Can deter people who are looking at that story, particularly family. But that's not the subject that I wanted to take on here. I want to play you the newsroom video that came out, I think, about yesterday. This video was supposed to be made yesterday, but unfortunately, load shedding issues here, and not even load shedding, there was a power outage for almost about 18 hours, and so I haven't had power. So that's why this video could have come out yesterday or even in the morning if the lights had come back, but they didn't. So I'm going to play you that video, and then I'll be back with my commentary based on what you heard Bushiri post.
Someone from Westbury about the shooting. It seems that the crime continues.
Yes, good evening. Thank you so much for having us to be able to speak about something that was, there's no words to actually explain what happened on Friday evening. This was unexpected. I mean, we know about the shooting in Westbury and what we have been encountering with the gangsterism, but this is on another level, that people can come into a church, a place where you're supposed to be safe, and to be able to do what they did. We don't know the whole story yet. What was their motive and all that. We heard that it was a robbery. I don't know whether you were aware that a week or so before that, in the same area, a tavern, where they came into a tavern and they shot 11 people, 3 died. And just a week after that, they're doing it in the church. So we are devastated. This is something that we haven't expected.
That's my issue right there. You know, they put it in context. Criminal activities that have been happening. Right? There was one in a pub. There was one at a so forth. And that same day, there was another shooting at another area again. There's a pattern of criminal behavior. Clearly said. And crime happens everywhere. To make it sound like, no, it's a South African problem. He even had the audacity at the end of his post to say, oh yeah, you think I'm going to go back down there? To show that his interest was never really the interest of the law. Now you'll remember, he kept saying, like the other people, when they go to the law system, they claim to be interested in the law taking its course, only to find out that once things actually come to light, they have no interest. Bushiri, at the bottom of his post, he clearly says, do you think I'm going to go back down there? Because he is painting this image of a country that is hell-bent against ministries or ministers. That time is still coming in the future. The Bible tells us about it, clear. But here, this is not it. Here, we're talking about criminal activity. So why paint an image? You know, why can't, if you have nothing to say about something, why not just not say anything about it and then let that family mourn? Right? But he has to insert himself, like he's so self-centered, which tells you why he can't be God-centered. He's so self-centered that he has to insert himself into something that has nothing to do with him. I find that so... I go speechless at that. It is nature that shocks me. I just don't get him. Like, he's weird. He's weird. Bushiri for me is weird. He has this spirit that I just don't get. But hey, I'm not supposed to get people that are dodgy man business. I'm of the kingdom. They have their own agendas. They paint the agendas. They keep rolling on those agendas. That's why he is the way he is. So as we stated before, sometimes it takes a while for people to see narcissistic behavior from a person who claims to be hearing from God. This is a clear sign of a narcissistic behavior that embroils itself in a person claiming to hear from God, but clearly they don't. He does not hear from God. Clean as that. If he heard from God, his character would be in order, but he can't help insert himself into everything. Which goes with the stories that we've posted some time ago, showing that if people who are supposedly pastors don't even acknowledge him, they get sidelined at ECG. Because he's so self-centered. Let people bury their child. without you inserting ideas or making South Africa as if it's a criminal issue. This is a criminal issue. If there was a hit that was ordered, it will come out. Let them do the investigation on that. Right now they said it's a robbery. He said in pretexts of robbery, he's inserting ideas. It's the actuality show with daily Christian commentary videos. The narcissistic behavior of some people that claim to be man of God, it's quite sick.